We live in confusing times. And the reason for that is because there's so much information now. And unfortunately, so much of that information is misleading or it's just wrong. As a result, it's difficult to know what to believe anymore. And we can see that all around us with so many people struggling with everything, including ourselves, or at least me anyway. Well, I realized some things this past week that have really helped clarify things for me. Okay, and these are things that this is useful for anyone, but this is especially for Christian men. And it's not that I have anything against anyone else. It's just I think we really need Christian men to step up right now and start becoming leaders. Leaders in our homes, in our communities, in our states, in our nation, in the world. I think that would absolutely benefit everyone. Okay, now as far as the things I realized, there's three fundamental foundations that all of us should be working to build our lives on, that we should constantly think about at all times. And that's working to be productive, to be wise, and to be morally good. Yeah, I know that didn't sound like much there, did it? Yeah, that was pretty anticlimactic there. But, okay, those are some powerful things. Okay, being productive. Doesn't sound like much. But with being productive comes so much. And being productive, what I'm calling being productive is producing, working, making, creating things of value. Okay, now that does not necessarily mean monetary value. All things, not all things that are valuable are worth money, and not all things worth money are valuable. Okay, but being productive, producing things that matter. Okay, that is important. With that, we get so much. Okay, if we're physically producing things, all right, that's work. Work makes us stronger. We're in better shape. We're healthier. We're able to do more. Okay, with being productive comes competency. We have to be competent in order to be productive. It's not easy producing things of value. Right? It requires skills to be able to do that. We have to be competent. And with competency comes confidence. Okay, when we can create things, we become more confident. And I heard a podcast, I can't remember who this was, but two people were discussing wealth and how one of them who was very successful had started from nothing and built up his business and now is successful. And one of them commented that he could lose everything now and it wouldn't matter to him because he knows he could do it again. He could get back to that position. And he also mentioned that so many people that were born into wealth, they're terrified of losing it. Okay, because they didn't earn it. They aren't necessarily competent. They didn't create that wealth themselves. Okay, so it is very important that we be productive. And as Christian men, we have an obligation to be productive, to produce more than we consume. Okay, as men, we're supposed to be able to provide for our families. Okay, as Christians, we're supposed to help those in need in our communities. All right, well, that means we have to be able to produce more than we consume ourselves. We have to produce enough extra for others, for our families, and for those in need. Okay, that's being productive. Okay, now unfortunately, it's not always easy to realize if we're being productive or not. Okay, myself, okay, I've got a blind spot here. I spent a lot of years working to become a better bass fisherman and a lot of money. Was that being productive? Okay, yeah, I can go catch fish and I can feed my family and myself and others with those fish. All right. But are those fish worth the thousands of dollars I have spent in order to become a better bass fisherman? No, I didn't have to spend all that to become a better bass fisherman. All right, so anyway, that's stuff we all have to keep in mind and should think about on a regular basis. Is playing video games, is that being productive? No, It's not creating, producing, making anything of value. That's something you enjoy, which is fine. We all need things we enjoy as individuals. But we also have to be able to go out into the world and be productive. And when we can get to the point that we enjoy being productive, rather than thinking, okay, this is just work and I've got to do this, I think that's a good place to be. Okay? And yeah, we can work real hard at doing things that aren't productive. Well, this is where the next foundational principle comes in: wisdom. It helps us to know if we're being productive or not. And what I'm defining wisdom as, it's being able to make predictions and take actions in ways that will benefit us in the future based on knowledge and experience. Okay, in the future, and that's an important part of this. Okay, and I looked up the definition of wisdom and wise, and I wasn't terribly impressed with the definitions, but I remember an example it gave of being unwise. And it said building a dam beside a volcano would be unwise. Okay, well, why is that? Because we all know that at some point in the future, that ground's going to become unstable. Okay, so that's when I realized wisdom is about the future. And it's about being able to make predictions about the future. Okay, that doesn't mean we're going to get it right. All right, but we should at least be aware of it. And I heard something not too long ago from Brett Weinstein. And he said we should all be working on models of modeling things mentally of what's going to happen, events, in order to figure things out. And if we think something's going to happen and it doesn't, then we should adjust our model. Okay, I think that was a fancy way of saying we should work on being wise. We should literally put time into thinking about, okay, how's whatever situation going to play out? And don't go into it just assuming, hey, I know for certain and I'm absolutely right. And go into it thinking, okay, this is my prediction. This is what I believe is going to happen. And then, okay, let's see. And if it doesn't work out like we thought it would, why? Okay, and the more we figure that one out, the more we can predict things that are going to help us. A great example. Okay, did I need that second cookie tonight after supper? No. Was eating that second cookie going to be beneficial for me in the future? No. It was very good in the moment, but not in the future. Okay, so that's, once we start thinking about things in those terms, is this going to benefit me in the future? All right, that really gives us a different perspective on things. And if you don't believe me, try it tomorrow. Okay, when you go to do something, just stop and think for a minute. Is this going to benefit me in the future? Is getting up in the morning at whatever time and going to work going to benefit me in the future? Probably will, because you're going to have a paycheck. Okay, is that eating whatever you know you shouldn't be eating, is that going to benefit you in the future? No. And then wisdom is taking action on that knowledge. So it's not eating that second cookie. In fact, it's probably not eating the first one. Okay, that's wisdom. All right, and of course, wisdom's mentioned many times in the Bible. Okay, so there's a lot of emphasis placed on wisdom. And then finally, we have being morally good. And when I say morally good, as defined by the Bible. Okay, so the things God tells us to do and not to do, and the examples that Jesus gave us, okay, that's morally good. All right, what's pretty simple, all right? It's loving thy neighbor as thyself, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's thinking about others besides just yourself. Okay, it's really not that difficult. All right. Now put all three of those together and you've got something. And it has absolutely amazed me at how related all three of those were, or are. Okay, being productive. Why would you work to be productive? So that your future would be better. You're putting in the work now. You're sacrificing now in order to have more in the future. All right, is that not wisdom? Okay, and if you're working to produce more than you consume so that you can help others, is that not morally good? Okay, and on the morally good, I struggled with that one a little bit. Exactly what was I looking for there? And at first I was thinking to walk in the footsteps of the Lord, to behave in a godly manner, or at least for us to try to. And we fall short daily, but we should try. All right, but then I remembered, or I say remembered, realized, I think, you put all three of those together, and then I think that's acting in a godly manner, or at least trying to. Because God was very productive. He created all of this. Okay? And the value of work is mentioned many times in here as well. Okay? And the work we do, okay, this is important. It's not about just working. When I say working to be productive, we can tell whether or not we're being productive by the fruit we produce. All right, so if we're being productive, we're producing good things, good fruit. And if we're not, then we're producing bad things. Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good way right there to measure, okay, is what we're doing working out? Are we on the right path here? Is it bearing good fruit? All that comes from here. All right, so, and then in the Bible, the Lord tells Adam, and then again, Noah, be fruitful and multiply, be productive. Okay, so all three of those are throughout the Bible. That is so much of what the Bible is all three of those principles. And I'm not saying I got it all figured out by any means. I'm sure I'm really missing something here. But those three are a mighty powerful start. Anyway, like I say, it helped clear up a lot of the confusion for me. Now for myself, I actually did work on all three of those principles last week and was focused on them. Being productive. I got the windows in the new edition this past week, and that felt good seeing those go in there. And with that, the new edition's dried in now. Okay, so this week I've got to tear off the back porch and then get that rebuilt. And after that, I'm done framing. Okay, so it's nice to finally see this work start to pay off on the new house. So I have been busy this year with that, and I hope being productive with it, with my time there. Okay, and then as far as the wisdom. Okay, and this was a little bit tougher one. Okay, a couple of videos back, I said some rather negative things about some legal events all in the news, and several of you pointed out that I was becoming negative. Okay, I thought about that, thought hard about it, and I think the things I said were true, or at least that's how I felt. But I agree, you're right, I was becoming negative. Okay, and I seem to remember several things in here about wise men welcoming correction, as much as it may hurt our pride. Okay, so I do appreciate the constructive criticism. And there were a couple of comments I went to go back and respond to that had been deleted. Okay, don't ever feel like you have to delete a comment as far as if you're being critical of anything I'm doing or saying. I welcome criticism. It might hurt at the time when I'm reading it, but those of you that said I was getting negative, you're right. And a lot of reasons for that. Main reason for that is, honestly, I'm just tired. Okay, because I was working hard in between my regular job and working on the house, and it's summertime now and it's hot, and okay, I've got to keep that in mind. All right. Okay, and I've also got to quit focusing on external things I can't do anything about, and work on the things that I can do something about, which is mainly me doing better myself. And I've got plenty of work to do there. Okay, so yeah, the criticism was appreciated. Now, as far as the morally good, I can't think of anything I did on that front last week. I thought about some things, but I didn't do them. I didn't follow through. All right, but maybe I can do that this coming week. Okay, anyway, I hope this helps some of you out. I know it's already helped me out a good bit. And God bless, and have a great day.